some ideas from my book called The Heresy of Heresies, A Defense of Christian Common Sense Realism. Came out a couple years ago, and this video is going to walk you through some ideas from chapter 2 called The Exterior Path to Existence. In this chapter, what I'm trying to do is show that by paying attention to your ordinary experiences, just by simple, what philosophers call phenomenological reflection. I think C.S. Peirce called it even phaneroscopy, right? The study of, or the paying attention to, the looking at ordinary sense experiences, that we can come to understand the ultimate nature of what is, of what reality is. So this is not too crazy of an idea. Maybe you're thinking, all philosophies go a little bit crazy, but this is no crazier than any other philosophical ideas that are out there. So let me just read a little bit, and then I'll comment a little bit. So the ideas in this section come, or are found originally, probably is a better way to put it, in the work of Thomas Aquinas. So he maintained that the nature of reality is one of the first things that human beings grasp in their intellectual activities. Aquinas claimed in his work on truth, called De Veritate, you can probably find copies of that online in the public domain, or find them other places online. Here's what he said in that work. He said, "What is first apprehended by the intellect is being." Just stop and think about that. What is first apprehended by the intellect is being. And so you have an intellect. Pretty sure you have one, right? And when your intellect gets sufficiently developed for you to be able to pay attention to your intellect, like sometimes philosophers call that reflection, right? You can pay attention to your own thoughts and experiences. And my own view is every human being has that. Either they have it but it's not expressed, or they have it and it's expressed. And we can talk about that distinction some other time, maybe another video. Plenty to talk about in philosophy. But when you have that ability as a human, and you are aware of it, then when you have an experience, you are grasping being. That's the first thing. Hence, Aquinas continues, the intellect must attribute this being to whatever is apprehended by it. And so, when it apprehends the essence of any being, it says that the essence is a being. Okay, so now there's a lot going on in that passage. Right? There's a couple other places that Aquinas talks about this, but let me just say something that's going on here. Right? The idea is that you have an experience of an ordinary object, like a tree or a fence or a post or a hat, right? Glasses, water, right? Whatever the case may be. And you have that ordinary experience, and when you have that experience, you apprehend the essence of a being in the experience. The qualities of the object that are essential to it can be present before your mind. Really present, directly and immediately present. And when that happens, you are able to see the relationship between the essence of the thing and the being of the thing. And through another couple steps, you then can reflect on those experiences, and see that being is the exemplification of an essential nature. Now, I'm going to talk about that in some more detail, but that's roughly the process. Now, Aquinas has a couple other places where he talks about this. In his work De Veritate on truth, he also says, following an Islamic scholar named Avicenna, says, "Now as Avicenna says, that which the intellect first conceives as in a way the most evident, and to which it reduces all its concepts, is being." Okay? The most evident, to which it reduces all its concepts, is being. It's being, or reality, is the first thing in our ordinary experience of the world. In his Disputed Questions on the Power of God, here's another thing that Aquinas writes. He says, "The first object of the intellect is being." The first object of the intellect is being. Okay, so your intellect, as it as it manifests itself in your growth as a human being, first grasps the nature of being in its experiences. You know, this is central to what's going to follow about understanding the nature of reality. Okay? All right, here's another quotation. On the importance of good starts in metaphysics, Aquinas, following Aristotle, reminds us, this is from his work on Being and Essence, Aquinas reminds us that a small error in the beginning of something is a great one at the end. Moreover, being and essence are what the intellect first conceives. Hence, we ought to state what the term essence and being signify. Okay, so if he's right about this, then we have to be very clear about what being is and what essences are, and how they connect to each other, and how that applies to our experiences of them. Okay, so this next part of the book that I'm walking you through the ideas from is going to rely on some philosophy ideas from a philosopher named George Klubertanz. And Klubertanz, I think he taught at St. Louis University in the last century, and an amazing thinker. And his book on metaphysics is one of the main books that I'm relying on here in my book. Klubertanz's work is like without parallel, I think. At least for me, it really opened my mind to how to think about the nature of reality. So Klubertanz's work is called The Introduction to the Philosophy of Being, and you can find it online through Amazon or any other bookseller. And it's in print. It's been republished, I think, by Whitford Stock, the same publisher that published the book that I'm talking about here. So if you can get your hands on Klubertanz's book, it's amazing. But here's what he says about this. He follows Aquinas on this. Klubertanz claims that according to St. Thomas, the intellect must begin with sensible things. Okay, I'll repeat that. According to Klubertanz. Let me back up. Klubertanz says that according to Aquinas, the human intellect must begin with sensible things, and hence all principles must somehow be found in sense experience. Okay, so let me repeat that. You gotta go slow with this. According to St. Thomas Aquinas, the human intellect must begin with sensible things. Okay? So the first starting point of philosophy, especially metaphysics and ontology, this is also going to apply to ethics and epistemology and aesthetics and politics and philosophy of religion and philosophy of bioethics and any other, even logic. Even logic, maybe. Might be more controversial for some of you logicians. The human intellect must begin with sensible things, and hence all principles must somehow be found in sense experience. All principles, that is, all starting points, all of the things that we ground our philosophy in must be started with sensible things. Okay, just think about that. And next time you run into a philosophy that is just starts with something else, you might wonder about that. And then just go back to common sense. All right, thanks for watching. If you're enjoying these videos, please like and subscribe. You will make the world a more beautiful place. Thanks for watching.
Stay psyched, Grom. You!